Hi, welcome to Is It a Film, a podcast that critiques and memes films and asks one very important question: is it a film? I'm your host, Jonathan, aka Guy Madden's NFL 2020 on the PS4.
That's a good one. Proud of you for that one. That's me level AKAs right there.
And I'm joined by my ever-attentive co-host, my best friend, my pal, my amigo, my droog, Vincent.
AKA from the forbidden womb to the forbidden tomb.
God,
That's good.
we got two good AKAs
That's
today.
good one.
You can stop watching now.
Yeah, it's over. We peaked here. This is episode 7 of Is It a Film, an episode we would like to call The Metal-Faced Forbidden Room. Today we're going to be talking about The Forbidden Room, a Guy Madden film who's not related to John Madden, who did something in football. What is it? I think maybe he was an announcer. Maybe he ate footballs for a living. I don't know. But he was so good at it, EA decided to make money off of his name.
Yeah.
So, you gotta do something. Today, we're gonna go over Forbidden Room. We're gonna give it a basic-ass intro and tell you why it's important. We're gonna go over the Wikipedia plot summary. We're gonna tell you some of the IMDb reviews on there and go over into the trash can of what IMDb is. And then we're gonna play a little segment of MF Doom or The Forbidden Room.
I honestly don't know if I want to know what that is.
It's a good segment. We'll get into it at the end. So, basic-ass intro. You ready, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Forbidden Room. Okay. What's the clickbait title of this episode? Last week it was Godzilla. No, last week it was Eraserhead plus Iron Man plus Godzilla equals question mark. This week, what is it? Forbidden Room.
Can we do gain lobotomized to cure my crippling cocaine addiction?
No, that's not a clickbait title. We need something to draw an audience in.
Oh, here
stories
we go.
Inside stories.
Gets lobotomized to cure butt addiction. Hint, goes wrong.
That's not clickbait. No.
That is YouTube clickbait.
No.
You put goes wrong at the end of anything, boom, instant views.
I think it should be like stories within stories within stories within stories.
Butts within butts within
Oh my
butts
god,
within
Jesus
butts.
Christ. So, Forbidden Room is directed by Guy Madden, who's known to me by doing Kegel. That's the only film I know that he's done. Besides this, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
What are some of the other films?
Guy Madden is a Canadian surrealist from Winnipeg. Pretty much the crowning example of like Canadian surrealism, because I think he might be, other than some of,
Because he's royalty.
Yeah, other than some of like David Cronenberg, like the only Canadian surrealist.
That's why he's part of the royal family.
Yeah,
Of Canada.
Yeah, he is well known for movies like The Saddest Music in the World, Careful, Forbidden Room is also.
So is the saddest music in the world just Logic? Boom. Yes.
He's also known for doing a lot of like good works and shorts with The Heart of the World, which actually comes from a similar ideological starting point as this feature film, and that they were based on Lost films. And then probably my personal favorite of his is Brand Upon the Brain, which is like probably his most like traditional surrealist. It takes a lot of like visual cues from films like Eraserhead and things like that.
Yeah. Okay, this film was also co-directed by Evan Johnson, which did it mention what he co-directed, or is it just like
I think they work together on like everything.
okay? This film was also written by
Evan was the one who taught him how to do like all the visual effects digitally that he usually does in film.
Because there's a lot of visual effects where it looks like film is decaying to other films, or that a YouTube video is not loaded properly, so it like digitizes, or it's that one weird A$AP Mob music video where everything's like terraforming into each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of warping, there's a lot of distortion, decaying. It looks I'll talk about why it looks like this later, but the whole film looks like it's on a film stock that's about to just burst into flames and be gone forever.
That's the best type of film stock to use because you get some good aesthetic out of it at a high cost, probably.
Yeah.
Of your sanity.
You don't need all your PAs to make it through alive.
Yeah. It was written by Evan Johnson, Robert Kotick, and Guy Madden. Stars a lot of actors, so many that it hurts. It has music by Galen Johnson, Guy Mylan, and Jason Stazik. And the music of this is perfect because it's just old classical music.
Yeah.
It's just decayed classical music. It sounds like it's being played for an old turntable. Just like a really old.
It's got like all the like clicking and like of like an old, really old like gramophone record.
Yeah, gramophone. That's what I was looking for. It was edited by John Gudabicki, so that's where a lot of the visual effects come in.
Yeah.
and a lot of the transitions that are really weird. And each sequence of the Forbidden Room is based on the reviews and summaries of lost films, mostly from America in the early to mid 20th century. These films were destroyed intentionally or by natural degradation. Degradation. Why can't I say that word?
I don't know. You've never been able to say that word.
Degradation of the original film stock and will likely never be seen again. Guy Madden realized the only way he'd be able to see these lost movies was to make them himself. The project was originally conceived to be a series of standalone shorts films. The only way Guy Madden was able to receive enough funding was to string some of them together into a feature.
Yeah. And then also at the same time he was working on this, he kind of used, he has this online art exhibit called Seances. And whenever you go on it and you click the button to watch, it generates through like a series of clips, like a completely randomly put together film. And once you watch it, it'll be gone. Like you can't like get it back. There's no way of like rewinding. You literally just have this one chance to watch this film, and then it's lost to the void of like infinite randomness.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So some of the clips are like they use a lot of same actors. Some of them are reused for this film, and so
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a very cool project. I've watched a bunch of it. It's kind of like heartbreaking to actually watch that. And I think it's kind of creating the same feeling that he gets because he's obsessed with these old silent films, is the idea of like these things that you love and enjoy possibly never existing. Mm-hmm. And knowing that like when you watch this is your one chance and it's gone forever.
Yeah. Why is this film important, Jonathan?
So this film's important because it's a really big commentary on loss, things being lost to time, whether it's films, memories, ideas, entire genres. Because like in one of the shorts is like the Aswan, which is something we don't make horror films about, but there was one back in the day, but then it was lost, and now that whole genre of filmmaking is non-existent. And so it's just kind of a film about loss, and it explores the idea of films being lost and
even context being lost.
Yeah, context being lost and things like that. There's films on here that have so little to go on. It's literally just the title of the film and the knowledge of the director's ever work.
Yeah, which is interesting. I think the actual clickbait title should be remaking films without knowledge of film.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Remaking films within stories. Or
remaking a film I've never seen.
Yeah, remaking a film I've never seen. Or remaking films with stories and within stories.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. So it's time to go over the most important segment on the shore, which is not really the most important segment this time. But if Jonathan, if you could read this for me, because my voice is kind of going out, that would be lovely.
So I think for this one, we should just read through the summary and then comment on the whole thing as a whole afterwards.
Okay. Read it through the summary, my good man.
Okay. The film's frame story and the narrative it returns to the most concerns a submarine crew transporting a volatile substance that will explode if they ever resurface. As the crew struggle... Actually, I'm going to interject. It's actually if they move like any pressure like at all up.
Oh, yeah. I'm also going to interject Wikipedia. The reason we do this is because it's the most important most important resource to man. It's an online encyclopedia for those of you who don't know. And you can donate, but I don't think anyone has ever donated to Wikipedia before in their life. So
I haven't.
Yeah, so go forward.
If you want to donate, cool. Good on you.
Yeah.
You're doing more for society
you goody two shoes. You goody two shoes. What makes you so right and proper, you know?
Probably wears a turtleneck.
Yeah.
God. As the crew struggle to survive with low oxygen levels, a woodsman, Roy Dupuy, mysteriously forces his way onto the vessel. The crew believe his sudden appearance may lead to an escape from their predicament. The men navigate a labyrinth of rooms and passageways while trying to access the captain's chamber. Along the way, they recount stories that lead to other stories, which unfold in a complex and layered manner. The most important of these sub-stories show the woodsman and his fellow sapling jacks trying to rescue... The sapling jacks literally abandoned him right off the get.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna Immediately, I'm throwing that one out there. I'm trying to rescue a woman named Margot. Margot?
Yeah.
Probably Margot. I think it's Margot.
Yeah.
From depraved kidnappers. Other sub-stories involve a surgeon kidnapped by a team of woman skeletons who work as insurance defrauders, a madman on a train under the charge of a womanizing psychiatrist, a mustache that seeks to comfort the widow of the man whose face it used to adorn, and a doctor cursed by a bust of Janus, and a bunch of other that I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
The submarine crew finally reached the captain's forbidden room, only to find him incapacitated. Most of the men die of asphyxiation, but the woodsman finds that the volatile cargo has transformed into his love, Margot, A passionate kiss leads into a montage of proposed endings from the Book of Climaxes, an abrupt, inconclusive ending to the film itself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to set this aside for now.
Yeah. So this film's essentially just a bunch of loose segments that are combined together and edited together throughout. So it's like
it is, and then at the same time it isn't. Each film is introduced as a new story within the first story.
Yeah.
And every one is introduced as somebody telling a story or dreaming up a story.
Or I guess it relates. No, isn't there one with where one of the people that he encounters is on the ground? And it says the ground is the earth is telling me.
Yeah.
Oh, Earth's telling
that
me.
Earth is telling him a story. So like, how it works is I actually took meticulous notes because this was the second time I watched the film was when I watched it for this, and the first time I was just taking it all in at once. The second time I was more like breaking it down. So the film starts off with its book ending, which is based on a real short film called How to Take a Bath,
which is a guy. It's played by a guy who looks like Jeff Goldblum in his elderly stages, but is not Jeff Goldblum, so 0 out of 10.
Yeah, would have been much better if it was actually Jeff Goldblum. That's beside the point. And he literally just is teaching you how to take a bath. Then it kind of goes into the main thing they talked about, the bottom of the sea, where they're all stuck on the crew. They have this blasting jelly that got pressurized by accident. So now if they go up, the pressure's going to change too much and it's going to explode and kill them all. They're running out of oxygen. They're eating flapjacks because it has little pockets of air inside of it.
But doesn't you have? I just hate that idea.
It's such a dumb idea, and I'm pretty sure that was actually probably one of the bits that was probably from the original.
Yeah, because I just hate that idea because the oxygen still remains. You made the flapjacks.
Yeah, the oxygen hasn't changed. But.
There's less
maybe
oxygen now
they
because
made
you probably
made the flapjacks before this all went to shit, and now they're trying to get their air back.
I'm not giving them that much credit.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. And then like the woodsman like breaks in, and so then while he's there, one of the guys on the ship tells him the tale of a woodsman, but the woodsman on the ship has amnesia, and that's a common theme for all these films. Is a lot of people have their memories gone, and I'm gonna talk about that later. But so the woodsman is being told of his own story by the guy on the boat, of him doing the whole thing of like the woodsman like, hey, let's go save her, and then they're all like, I got shit to do, and he's like, well, fuck you then. So he kind of goes off on his own. And he gets there and he does this series of trials
to prove himself to the bandit leader,
like bladder slapping. Literally one of them is they take a scale and they each put their balls on it to see whose balls are the heaviest.
That's how you see this true top dog is. You put your balls on the scale and whose balls are heavier is the top dog.
Yep, and exactly.
God damn it.
And that's totally wouldn't be influenced by height or anything.
Yeah. Or gravity.
So like he does all their trials, and then Margot is apparently on the bandit side. She's like, hey, you got all these other tests that you're going to have to do. Come back tomorrow. So they all go to sleep, and then Margot dreams. And Margot dreams the story of this girl who wakes up with amnesia in the middle of, like, a forest and then walks to, like, a cafe where she's a flower girl / a singer, so she sings a song. And then after she sings, the house singer comes up and he sings a song about a man who's addicted to butts,
which is one Tina Belcher away from being a Bob's Burgers song. I love it.
It's the most thoroughly like enjoyable segment in the whole
this
film.
Is where the aesthetic of the film works so much for it. Just everything raggedy out. The singer, how he's so scratched,
you can't even make out his face. You can't even
see his figure. No, not even his face, his entire figure.
You can see some of his arms sometimes, like his general body shape, but like his identity is completely gone.
But also, the shot where the doctor opens up his head and starts taking out bits of brain because he's addicted to butts.
And he just wants to not be addicted to butts anymore.
But like just the set design, not only on that scene, but like throughout the entire film is just everything's shot on stage. You can tell. Because the constant use of green screen throughout the entire thing, which makes it so cheesy but so rewarding.
Yeah,
it's that comfort. It reminds me of the earliest filmatic rendition of Dante's Inferno. I think it's the actual Italian one.
Yeah,
but yeah, just that staging.
All of the aesthetic of this, though shot digitally, is meant to represent or be reminiscent of old silent and early sound films, and like the coloring looks like it's like the hand painted coloring that
Yeah.
they would do. The special effects looks like
Wasn't it like Edison would hire some like ladies to color in his
yeah,
films?
those like horrible working conditions and yeah.
Dude, fuck Edison.
See, like at least when Méliès did it, it was his wife who was a painter, and like they did it like kind of together, and they didn't poison each other by doing it. They did it correctly.
But where's the fun in that?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the fun in not poisoning people?
Yeah, so like the whole film looks like old films and like that era of film that a lot of these films came from, where they are gone, which makes sense. So that song ends. The singer steps off of stage, and the woman is confronted by like what is I guess is her boyfriend, complaining about like how she like didn't follow through on like their plans. But again, she has amnesia, so she doesn't know who the hell he is. And then like all those stories just kind of work backwards a little bit. The woodsman walks away, and then it goes back to the people on the ship. They break into like the next room, and every time they do that, air seeps out.
It
like,
releases pressure or something.
and then
like
like
that.
pressure and like the air quality goes down like a ton, and they lose time. So then it goes back to the story of the woodsman walking away from the cave. He's being continued to tell that story. Then that goes into the story where he hears the story of a squid theft punishable by death, which is basically just a guy steals a squid, which is punishable by death, but then something falls out of the air from like a plane and hits him in the head and kills him, and then a woman falls out of the plane.
Yeah.
And she's like introduced as like woman who's going to be like the virgin sacrificed to the volcano.
Yeah. This is where I start to lose. I think it just kind of gets too much.
Yeah, this segment's probably the one that is the hardest to like follow because there's a lot.
And then it goes on to when does it get into skeleton people?
In a moment.
Yeah, that's this is where like my amnesia, where I have amnesia now.
Yeah.
Where it's just like I think it's just too much, too many layers.
Yeah. So
Which
that,
is it's kind of supposed to be that way, but I wish it was shorter.
yeah. So the volcano then dreams the story of a man who wakes up to find everything in his house has been robbed, and his like his I guess kind of like servant, somebody who works for him, his like field hand, garden boy, is gone. So he puts out a newspaper for a new garden boy, which is picked up by an escaped murderer who has escaped custody, who then goes to him and like tries to get the job, and like still wearing his handcuffs. He somehow doesn't notice that he gets the job, and he reads the paper, sees him, and then looks down and reads another story. And this story is of a woman who gets into a motorcycle accident and gets amnesia, breaks like all of her bones, and so her doctor's like the best bone doctor in the area. So like he's putting all of her
Bone doctor.
put all of her like bones back together, and then they fall in love, and then like he's gonna marry her, but then he gets kidnapped by the skeletons, who then take him to this insurance fraud. And it's just this long favor. They like poison him with a poisoned leotard.
Yeah, and then doesn't she get her bones broken again,
Yeah.
but this time in the right way?
Yeah, and so then like the doctor's brother comes down from like his monastery because he's like a monk, I guess, and a doctor, and like re-breaks her bones so that he can set them properly because he said his brother did a terrible job. All the while the brother's like being like tortured and like this by the skeletons and like poisoned by a leotard to like sign away his soul. It's something.
Yeah, this
But,
is again just too much.
But while one of the doctors is holding up an x-ray of the woman's broken pelvis, it transitions into a train going into a tunnel.
Oh.
Because that imagery has never been used to signify anything before
Yeah,
in
no,
film.
it doesn't mean sex.
Yeah.
Definitely does not mean sexual intercourse.
Totally not used by Hitchcock.
Totally never used by Hitchcock.
Yeah. So then that goes to like the train, and there's like the psychiatrist on the train with his patient who's like having a breakdown, and there's like a woman on the board, and so like the psychiatrist like sleeps with the woman and then introduces her to her inner self, which then goes to the inner child's her inner child, which then goes to this inner child story about like all these soldiers who have a rare form of amnesia where their memory's fine, but all of their loved ones back home won't remember them when they return. And then that just ends. It just ends. And then like it goes back, and the woman just fucking shoots her inner child, like just fucking right there, just shoots her. Then it goes back and it just finishes all the things that have happened before, including so it ends the squid theft where the woman who was supposed to be sacrificed like leaves with the woman who fell the plane, and they have sex, and then it's long and complicated.
Like, you explaining this to me is even, like, worse than the film explaining
Yeah.
it. Like, I'm trying to imagine this in the film and, like, I remember it, and I still don't. Like, actually, you explaining to me it's better in the film, but it's still bad.
Yeah. It's hard to follow. I'm not going to say bad, but it is very hard to follow. And I think that's the point.
It's a point in some aspects, but, like, it doesn't have to be as long as
Yeah.
it does.
Then they go into the captain's room, or towards the captain's room. They already checked his, like, captaining quarters or whatever, like, where he's supposed to be working, and he wasn't there. So they go towards the captain's room, and then the woodsman is told the story again. This time he's gaining more companions. He meets a guy who runs so fast that he has to keep rocks on his feet so he doesn't outrun the buffalo he's chasing. He meets a guy who can listen to the ground and an archer.
Hear Earth, and yeah.
Yeah, and so then that guy tells him a story because he hears the earth tell him the story. And it goes back to the Lady of Amnesia. And then this transitions into the Aswan story, which the Aswan is an old vampire myth where its footsteps get quieter the closer it gets to you, but louder the further away it gets. And it reeks of old rotten bananas, and also it can turn into like a weird banana monster. It's an actual myth. But so she goes, her boyfriend gets killed by the Aswan. She goes to her apartment and she finds the Aswan bananas, and they tell her a story. And the story is of a man who forgets to buy his wife a present. So he gets a brilliant idea of, oh, she loves my style, so I'll just tell her I got perfect duplicates of all of my fanes and give those to her. Her present is fanes I already own. And then when she questions, why did your stuff go? He's like, oh, I've been robbed. So he blames his, like, longtime trusted butler, shoots him, shaves off his mustache, and, like, takes his clothing to try to pretend to be him. Which then goes into the dead butler's mustache, dreams of returning to his family to console them. And this is where, like, his son inherits his mustache, and then, like, the mom starts treating him like the husband.
And then he has a record player,
And he has, like,
which is just predetermined, like, of the dad's yes,
just,
no, maybe answers.
But the dad isn't really dead because it keeps coming back to, like, collect fades from
and
his
just
house.
drink beer.
And, like, hang out with other dead people. One of which is a diplomat who's writing his memoir. Also, there's, like, a radio, like, show of, like, a prisoner, like, contemplating his, like, final thoughts as he's, like, knowing he's gonna die soon. That's super short, barely even, like, touched upon. But then it goes into a dead diplomat's memoir of this guy who goes to an antique shop and buys a bust of Janus, who's, like, a two-headed god. And then it,
There's
like,
a film company that's Janus, right?
yeah, they do, like, all of the, like, a very large portion of the Criterion films.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But, so Janus, and then, like, it just unlocks, like, a kind of, like, Jekyll and Hyde thing where, like, his turns into this evil version of himself.
But then he sees a duplicate of himself.
Yeah, and then eventually, like, the duplicate meets the normal self, and the duplicate kills that version of self, and it ends with this, like, guy, I think it's the same guy who does the bathtub, just going self-mastery at last, and it ends, and then it goes, but before that, the duplicate tells the story of a man who has a sick mother, who goes to get her medicine, and he meets a woman who can't afford her medicine but has the same condition as his mom. So he takes her in because he falls in love with her, and slowly starts giving her more and more of his mother's medicine until he's giving his mother nothing, and she dies.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to the main. It goes backwards and finishes all of these plot lines. The woman moves on from her dead husband and accepts her son as being her son. The man attempts to, like, assault, like, the chambermaid that came in. And then, like, people come in to arrest him, and he just, like, escapes into this, like, weird alternate world version of his room where, like, everybody loves him.
It's the party suite where it's every day is his birthday, and there's no consequences ever, and everyone loves him.
Yeah.
That is the best bit of the moment, where the door, after finally, like, he's gonna get his comeuppance for killing someone, it's just, like, door opens, and it's just like, happy birthday! And he just goes in and celebrates.
Everybody is, like, just watching these other versions of themselves, just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, the audience. And the Aswans end their story, and that story just kind of ends. And then it goes finally, then it gets to the things that they said in the Wikipedia summary. They break into the captain's room, they do all of this, he opens the book of climaxes. It's just all these various, like, climaxes of, like, old films. It's just, like, a bunch of them, just like a montage of all these various ways films could end, like, chaos. And some of these had to be expensive to make. There's, like, an entire, like,
plane
sequence
scene?
of like planes, and like a sequence of, like, blimps, like, crashing into each other, and, like, all made for just this, like, one climax, like, montage.
And
then the woman turns up and
comes out of the jail. Yeah.
And then it ends with the final bookending of the bath. Because remember, that's how this all started 2 hours
with
ago.
Not Jeff Goldblum type. And
Yeah, so there's a total of like 15 distinct segments and then the climax compilation. All in this film. It's about, I think it's like
It's
2
2
hours long. So like it's
2 hours 4 minutes, I think.
each segment averages at less than 10 minutes.
Yeah. But some of these segments I feel like should not be in
Some
here.
segments are distinctly longer than others.
Yeah.
The butt sequence is short. The dying prisoner is very short. Some of these other ones are pretty short.
Yeah, I even think the mustache guy or the mustache segment's pretty short because I enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah, it's a fun segment, and I think that's coming to like the thing that a lot of people when it comes to this film are going to get turned away from is it's very complicated. It's very, very dense, like just trying to watch and process all the various storylines and keep track of what is what. The segments aren't all going to be like super enjoyable because like they're a bunch of different films based on a bunch of different directors.
Yeah.
And so while yes, I think this film is very difficult for most people to watch, I think it is a worthwhile film to watch.
The aesthetic alone.
The aesthetic alone
because
is-
the way the film's degraded and it moves so seamlessly and it's so perfect and it lasts like even when it's in black and white is perfect. Like it evolves over the course of the 2 hours. Like while I feel like the narrative, or not even the narrative, the editing, it's just this thing's too long and I know there's a point to it, but I feel like some of these segments could be shortened. You can have the same amount of segments but still shorten it down. I know it's supposed to be this lost of kind of I guess context, and like you can still have that but not have it be 2 hours. Like it could be more like
I
hour
think
and a half.
the way it's set up is important though. I think when you're making a film about the actual films themselves being lost and all we have to go on is what has been said and written about them, I think that even plays into the narrative elements of this film because at no point do any of these characters actually see the story that they're being told. They dream it, they are being told it, or they read about it, or they hear it on the radio. Which is, with these films, all that we have left is we have
just ideas. We don't
ideas.
have any actual physical proof.
We
of
have
the
what
films.
people have said about them. We have what has been written about them. We have like old like radio reviews that might have been saved, and then we have just the vague ideas we have based on what we know about the people who made the originals. So this film is like extremely hard to watch, but I think it's trying to represent the deep-rooted loss that happened with these films and the deep-rooted chaos that comes from this major moments in history lost. Like there are some like major things that have been lost, not only just represented by this film, but just in general. There's like key early female directors whose almost their entire like filmography is gone now, and like key early films, and now all we have go on are the ones that have survived. So like it's kind of the desperation of clinging on to a history and recognizing that you're just overwhelmed by how much isn't actually there anymore. Because like from this era, I think they estimate that like from the years where films are lost, we've lost probably like 30+% of them, which that's an insane amount of film to just be gone.
Yeah.
Because like think how well we can keep track of like art nowadays. We think of like everything's on the internet pretty much. Like all the music you could ever want is like kept somewhere. You can find it somewhere. But like think of how much music before we had the ways to record and it was gone. How much music from the early like recording ways is gone.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of just, it's long, yes. It's tedious sometimes to watch, and it's very, very, very demanding of its audience. But I think it's because it's covering a topic that needs to have this kind of demand. It's demanding not to forget the things that we don't even have the option of remembering because they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just a complicated film filled with complicated ideas, but I think it's a beautiful film.
It's again beautifully shot.
Yeah.
I like the execution. For a majority of it. I like the ideas and the intuition put behind it. I just think it's too long.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like everything should be worthwhile in it. And for some of this, there's just moments where I feel like it's just not.
Yeah.
It was worthwhile. And I know it doesn't have to be narratively make sense. I wish I wish there's moments I was more confused. Like, it was almost like the film was cut intermittently or something like that. It was like I'm in the middle of another film. And there's moments like that, but I wish there was more moments like that throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
Because it would have made it feel, I guess, more important to me.
Yeah. I think like what you said about trying to make it feel like more important. I think it is still like trying to recognize
The ideas behind it are important, but
Yeah, the
just like
ideas
what we're
behind
being
it.
presented isn't the most important thing in the world.
But I think that's also kind of the point. Like, these films aren't the real thing. So, like, these films aren't really important. It's what they represent that is.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean I like it the same as other films for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the Wikipedia summary and Jonathan's editions, which was nice, even though it was super long.
If
like
you
this
want to
film
watch a good discussion on this film, Kyle Colgren has a really good video essay on it. It's only like 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's a quick watch. It's really good. I highly recommend it. I would highly recommend that Vincent puts the link in the description.
No.
I'll send him the link.
No.
I'll comment the link.
Only people who should recommend is us. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll comment the link on the
Time to
video.
get into reviews. What do the people like about this film? There's again this week no Google reviews, which is sad because Google reviews have the good memes.
Google, get your fucking shit together.
70% of people on Google like this movie, but there's no written reviews. IMDb, however, which is the Internet Movie Database, is about like the 5th or 6th most important resource known to man. I don't know. It's where all the movies are being kept, except for the ones that were lost.
We have to free them.
All the movies. No, if we free them, we lose them. That's the whole entire point of this. We should not free movies.
No, they're being kept in the Internet Movie Database.
That's why they're lost.
This is a
Yeah.
prison, though. We need to give them a free-range database. This is like free-range chickens.
Oh my God.
They're kept in these tiny little cages and they're suffering.
But the Internet Movie Database does have user reviews. And Jonathan, can you read them for these as well? Because my throat's going to go out.
And you can't read anyways.
Yeah, I can't read anyways. Just
so-
read the whole entire thing and we'll take it piece by piece afterwards.
So we're going with Bruhai.
Yeah, none of these names make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
So just go with it.
The title of this review is Ultimately Kind of Tedious. 5 out of 10. I admire the filmmaking and the art direction for The Forbidden Room, but while it initially dazzles, it quickly becomes rather tedious. There is no real payoff for the effort it takes to sit through it, and it does take some effort. The most entertaining part for me is the opening titles, which are actually really good.
Yeah.
The only movie I can compare it to is Stalker.
Which what I was thinking too, which is really interesting.
In terms of like just length.
No, kind of the aesthetic. Because some of the coloring reminds me of it. When it has more of an orange tint to it, it reminds me of Stalker.
Stalker wasn't that orange. That was
I
very
know.
muted.
I remember Stalker being really orange.
There's, like,
not like
moment-
saturated orange, but like
There's moments of
muted
like
orange.
the sand, but like most of it's outside of like greenery.
No, and like the opening bit.
Oh yeah, because the opening was kept in like a sepia tone thing to highlight the difference between
Yeah.
the zone and
Yeah.
outside of it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's like not even the majority of the film.
I know, but that's what it reminds me of. It's also we need to do Stalker eventually. That's a good.
We
film.
do. Yeah. Only movie compared to a Stalker, and it isn't a fair comparison. Oh, I should have just read that part. While both shared a washed out sepia tone, Lynch-like visual style, Stalker has a discernible plot beyond just its... This has a discernible plot.
It
You just
does.
have to work at it.
Yeah.
Beyond just its style. I'd love to intellectualize the film and say it has deeper meaning, but outside of the art direction and the stressed film look, after saying through, I've decided there is just no there.
He just doesn't understand the concept.
Yeah,
That's what's wrong with this.
This is a film that if you don't know the like context of what it is going in, you're gonna be lost. Pretty much, if you don't know that it's based on lost films, you're not gonna know what the hell you're watching.
Yeah. Moving forward with Rizzleness, if you can read that one.
A Journey to the Center of Film, 8 out of 10. I get because Heart of the World was one of his, and it was about going to the center of the world.
Oh, no, I think he's talking about Journey to the Center of Earth, which with Brendan Fraser. That's what he's referencing.
No, I think he's referring to the second one of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, is that... No, which one? No, I think both of them, they go to, like, the center of the Earth, weirdly enough.
Which
No,
one?
No. First one, they go to center of the Earth. Second one, they go to the mysterious island that
Oh,
has
right.
weird-ass bugs that are big as...
Right, 'cause
Everything's small
They
as
were
big.
based on a different Jules Verne novel, but just keeping the title.
But Dwayne Johnson's now Brandon Fraser.
No, Dwayne Johnson is... So Brendan Fraser is the kid's by a lot... uncle,
Yeah.
I think. And then Dwayne Johnson's like his stepdad, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Brandon Fraser fell off. He's in a DC show now, I think.
Yeah, he's in, it's like...
Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol, which
Yeah.
I've actually really wanted to watch. It's almost made me want to get, like, the DC, like, streaming thing. Just,
I
like,
didn't
watch
because
Doom
it's
Patrol.
Brandon Fraser and I know what to expect.
Well, no, I want to because I like Doom Patrol.
MF Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
Forbidden Room Patrol.
Yeah. Anyway, Rizzleness, A Journey to the Center film, 8 out of 10. This film, like all those of Guy Madden, has married the weirdness of David Lynch. Everyone else compares like Guy Madden and David Lynch, which I get, but like I think Guy Madden was
It's
first.
surreal. That's
Yeah.
why.
David
People are
Lynch is the
basic like
popular.
me.
Yeah, David Lynch is like as the popular surrealist, so I guess it makes sense that all other surrealism is compared to him, even if was before him.
Yep. It's like comparing all electronic music to Aphex Twin.
Yeah, because he popularized it.
Yeah.
Has married the weirdness of David Lynch with the love of film and quirkiness of Wes Anderson.
No, this film's not. Actually, it does the booty segments, but
The
that's
booty.
about it. But that's not a majority of the film.
Here's the, like,
but it's not like symmetrical.
That's the wrong kind of quirky.
Yeah.
Like Wes Anderson's quirky
is dry.
this
This
dry,
is wet quirky.
It's like dry obsessive quirkiness.
Yeah.
Whereas like this kind of quirkiness, that's like almost like a Daniels, the people who made Swiss Army Man kind of quirky.
Yeah. Again, we should read through this and then go piece by piece.
Yeah. All wrapped up in a unique visual style like no other. It's absolutely gorgeous, a true adventure in filmmaking and film watching filled with dreams within dreams and stories within stories. I don't think any of the segments actually have a dream that takes place in a segment within a dream. I think the dreams are separated out.
Okay.
That
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I'm just... Again, it's so fucking confusing. It's hard to keep track of without having a notes. It is like a love letter to the history of movies that blends silent films, noir, action, myth, comedy, musicals, and even instructional films into an absurd, self-referential ball.
It isn't like it is.
Yeah, it isn't like it. It actually is. But before you go running out to see it, you should know that it has zero interest in entertaining you. I don't think that's true.
No.
You wouldn't have made the butt segment. You wouldn't have included that one.
You wouldn't have included the bass segment. You wouldn't have included the mustache segment.
Like as much as like these are definitely like all
even the
based,
Janice segment, like
Yeah.
that's entertaining.
like as even though like yes these are all based on like real films, like those are like segments that are like entertainment based. Seriously, it's dense, confusing, and difficult to follow, and a tedious slog. There's no plot. There's a plot. If by plot you mean something that will emotionally resonate... Oh, okay. There is no plot if by plot you mean something that will emotionally resonate with you and keep you engaged with following the story or characters. Viewers should be the kind of masochistic film geeks who enjoy subjecting themselves to such pain and then feeling enlightened for doing so. And that's why I love this film.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I think we kind of took it apart
Yeah.
already.
Next,
Jawful.
Jawful, non-linear masterpiece, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
My name's Anthony Fantano. I got a yellow flannel on. 10 out of 10.
I already don't like this guy.
Okay, read it.
Okay, if you hate the way Yorgos Lanthimos, a fucking great filmmaker, just terminates movies right before the denouement, or if you kind of hated how nonsensical Mulholland Drive was, please just watch it again, really. Oh, the Forbidden Room is not recommended. Okay, I don't hate this person anymore. Okay, good. I like this person again.
Okay.
This is a movie for people who are in love with the visual art form of cinema, the technical history of it, especially full color processing, and who have an absolute love of classic pre-code movies, and those who may have accidentally tried a cup of mushroom tea. That's actually a fair statement, yeah.
Yeah.
There is no linear story arc, but there are many snippets of a beautifully reimagined bygone age. Don't be afraid, it's super watchable and actually has some highbrow humor.
I wouldn't say super watchable, but it does have
It is
entertaining.
watchable.
It is watchable, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how much humor in that I would call highbrow, but that's whatever.
Mustache humor, maybe? I don't know. Nah.
Again, you have an entire film segment dedicated to butts,
Butts,
so like...
yeah.
I guess maybe it's like highbrow in the way that like Swiss Army Man is highbrow. It
No.
uses like a lowbrow concept to tell like highbrow.
No, I think
like,
it's
concepts and humor.
highbrow as how your ass is above your feet. So it's higher than your feet. Yeah, that's good.
It has Charlotte Rampling and the utterly fantastic Louis Negan, and the visual film treatments are just unbelievable. It doesn't mention Udo Kier. If you're gonna mention great actors and you don't mention Udo Kier when Udo Kier is in a movie, like fuck you.
Who's Udo Kier?
Great actor.
No, like who is he in this film?
Which character? He was in which segment was it?
Because there's too many actors.
Yeah,
for
he
me to
didn't
pay
play like one of the main characters. He does mostly like side character work nowadays.
We'll come back to you if you
Yeah.
think it.
I think I don't remember. The visual film treatments are just unbelievable. This is a movie for all levels of consciousness simultaneously.
I like that phrase. This is a movie for all levels of consciousness simultaneously.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe the film.
Yeah.
Just everything continually happening at once.
I have to give this movie a 10 because for me it's so spectacular it couldn't be any less. Forget Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. This is the real thing. Sorry, Terry, I'm sure you'll understand. I don't understand that statement because Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is not that comparable to this.
Yeah,
the only way
I think it's just a random movie.
Yeah, I feel like the only way that they're like comparable is that like they're both kind of weird, but like they're weird in very different ways.
Yeah.
That just seems like a random like thing pulled out of his ass.
Yep.
Or their ass.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, final one. Let's get through this.
JVH48 says
That's a good name.
5 intertwined stories without a comment.
Five?
Five? How fucking long did you watch this? Like 10 minutes and then quit? 5? That's all you saw?
I think you watched 5 seconds of it.
Jeez, 5 fucking... God damn. 5... Fuck, I can't say that with a serious... Intertwined stories about a common theme fail to provide for interesting content.
Oh, well, there's a common theme, and it's lost film.
Yeah.
And how we lost it.
And the
how we
common
need to free
theme
it.
that's gonna be...
Okay, are you gonna read
Okay,
it?
hang on. Whoa. I'm gonna say something when I get to it. I saw this at the Imagine Film Festival 2015 in Amsterdam. Walked out after 1 hour, nearly half of the 130 minutes runtime. So, hey, fuck you. I did not understand a thing about what it was all about from the outset, but I allowed it some slack due to the overly positive introductory talk by the festival's artistic director. He told us about the abundance of references to films from the silent period. I don't think I care. Well, this film's not for you then, so just fuck off, I guess. The format is blatantly weird and taking trouble to look like a film from the silent period.
Move forward.
Oh, God. With seemingly missing pieces and imperfect material. God damn.
This is great.
But
This
we
is
know
best
that
review.
this film is recently made, as such, leading to the conclusion that these imperfections are added as a gimmick and defeating any useful purpose.
Well, it has useful purpose, but it is a gimmick.
Boyhood. The way Boyhood was made.
Yeah. Gimmick, but useful
it's
purpose.
gimmicky, but useful. It may resonate with film professionals, however, but what do I know? Nothing. That's what this is teaching me.
Yeah,
Nothing.
you only watched an hour of a
You
film.
watched an hour of a film. You're complaining that, like...
And then he's from Amsterdam. Well, this was in Amsterdam. He probably went to the red light district afterwards.
Probably.
Got him a high quality prostitute. Knowing him, probably low quality prostitute. Nice low quality prostitute.
He can't be bothered to put the time in to find a high quality.
He couldn't put the time in regardless. He's just gonna like touch it and go.
But
That's how
okay,
you come.
I'm not even done yet. I just want to...
There's more. There's
Yeah, but like I want to talk about just this half for a little bit. Talking about like like it has no purpose and like its visual elements. When it's very clearly like you even mentioned that it's like references to films from a silent period was told to you.
And then you say no purpose.
Yeah, gee,
It's-
it looks like old films and it's filled with references to old films. Why the fuck would they have made it look that way then? I'll fucking know. Fucking damn. Like I don't want to. I sometimes worry about this podcast. I come across as like elitist.
No, it's not.
Like,
It's stupid.
Like
it's
this,
really
it's
stupid.
like I don't worry about this. This is stupid. This statement, everything you've said in this review,
It's like what
is
the guy
dumb.
the guy said the quality was low.
Yeah,
of
it's
course, because he fucking scratched it with sandpaper.
Like-
he scratched film with sandpaper. It's not supposed to look
exactly.
good.
Like there's times where like I feel like maybe I'm being a little elitist, but like when I'm destroying some of these, I'm like going through them and breaking down why what they're saying is dumb. Sometimes I do. This one is not one of them. This is just pure blatant refusal to like try with a film.
I don't care if I come off as elitist. I'm part of the 1%. I'm a genius.
Yeah. But like you can like refuse to like watch, you can not enjoy films that you have to try for. I get that. That's what like inner escapism film is for. But you can't then act like you're somehow above the film when you're not trying with it.
Well, if you watch it from the rafters, you are.
Yeah, but like,
I'm coming with the bad jokes.
if you come up with, if your review is like, I don't like this film because it's like it's confusing, it's blah blah blah, but you like acknowledge that you don't try and you're not trying to act like you're above the film, just coming from like a more like general standpoint of the film, that review, I get that, I understand that, but to then come into a film you blatantly didn't fucking try with, and then act like you're somehow above the film because you didn't fucking try, says a lot more about you as a film viewer than the film as a film. I'm gonna move on now,
Yeah,
because I'm sure I'm gonna have other things to say. There is no edible story.
Yeah,
You can't eat stories unless you print them on paper and then eat them.
Wasn't there like fruit by the foot, or not fruit by the foot? What's the other one?
Fruit Roll-Ups?
Fruit Roll-Ups. They had like comics on them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can eat those stories.
Eat stories. Yeah, it's 2019, people. You can eat stories.
But yes, this is a film. It's projected light. No shit, you couldn't eat it.
Yeah,
that's not how light works.
Well, you could eat the film reel.
You could eat the no. This is shot digitally. Remember, there is no film reel. You can eat.
I think that's why the films are missing, because of the Great Depression, people had to eat films.
Ooh,
yeah.
Here we go.
That's why we lost all those films, because people were hungry.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's no edible story.
Actually, 5 stories I've heard or read somewhere, craftfully intertwined.
More like 5,000.
There's 15. So like take
5,000.
your estimate, multiply it by 3. And here's the thing.
And then there's all those endings too.
You're now literally basing your review on things you've heard and read, which is not a review.
Which we're basing our review on what this guy wrote, so I guess we're one to talk.
We're basing our criticism of his words based on what he wrote. That's fair. It's like book critique. You base it based on what you're reading. We're critiquing.
We're critiquing.
Exactly.
Dude, 2019's weird. We need to do some better segments, but also we don't need to do some better segments because this is interesting.
Yeah. I could not derive anything in common that could have served as a binding theme, because again, you left partway through, and you did not try. Fuck you. It may be so that the binding elements were to be revealed later on, but I did not wait until the final revelation and left.
Okay.
You literally point out the problem with your own. Anyway, other festival visitors who sat it out until the very end did not make much of it either, as it scored a lowly 36 out of 45 place for the audience award with an average score 6.78 out of 10. Okay, that's an average. That's an audience score. Audiences scores at festivals are usually the things you don't want to go by. You usually want to go by like the judge panels.
Yeah.
Because those are the people who know films.
Yeah.
And are there to judge them and critique them and not just watch them.
But what about the average critique score? That matters.
Well, it didn't. Also, this is something I hate in reviews, is when you're like, nobody else in the audience, like when they call out like the rest of the audience, that's to me immediately tells me, yeah, you're making that up.
Yeah.
Like,
because you left halfway through. How do you know about the rest of the audience?
Yeah. And that's like something that feels like, whenever I see reviews like nobody in the theater laughed, and I was like, that sounds fake.
Yeah.
Because they're like, here's the thing. People laugh at movie 43, so there's a sense of humor out there that almost all movies can find, even if it's a bad sense of humor.
Okay. Final question, or not final question, but important question, most important question. Is it good?
Yes.
Okay, it is. It is good. I think we have different degrees. I think it's an A. I don't think it's an S.
I think it's an S.
Because I don't think it's perfect.
I don't think S needs to be perfect.
I think it does. Because it's S tier.
Because like, I don't think
soup is top tier.
I don't think Eraserhead's perfect.
I think Eraserhead's perfect.
S tier. I think
Clockwork Orange is perfect.
There are exactly 3 films I think are perfect.
Yeah. And Eraserhead's not one of those.
No, Eraserhead is not one of them. Neither is A Clockwork Orange.
Is this one of those films?
No.
Okay, then no.
The films I think are perfect are It's Such a Beautiful Day, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and Tree of Life.
I'm not disagreeing with what you said, but I think it kind of perfect. Perfect's a weird score because something can be imperfect but still be perfect.
Yeah,
and I think that's what Eraserhead falls into. I think Clockwork Orange is perfect. To me, it is.
I guess we take the term perfect differently.
I don't think it's soup tier. I don't.
I think
A tier is still good tier.
A tier is a good tier, but I think
A tier is like good A tier is like
This is a film I lent to somebody like a year ago and only got back or not a year ago. It was a while ago. It's been like quite a while, like at least 6 months.
Was it me?
No, it wasn't you.
Oh, okay.
I did lend you this film at one point and you didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it.
You watched. I went
because you
like,
give me like a stack of movies. And
I was trying to help you write a film.
I only watch movies for the podcast.
I'm
not
trying to
good
help
at
you
watching stuff. I
write
only watch YouTube Let's Plays and Twitch streams.
I was trying to help
outside
you.
my free time, if it isn't episodes of BoJack Horseman, it's hard to watch that stuff.
I was trying to help you.
I need comfort, Jonathan. The only comfort culture I'll watch. No, I'm kidding.
Anywho, but like, yeah, I lent this film and like pretty much the entire time it's gone, I was just like, I really want to watch this film again because I've only watched it once. I feel like I need to watch it again.
I don't think it's S tier. I think it's A tier.
I think it's S tier.
I think it's A tier.
I think it's S tier.
We're not going to debate on this because we have a final terrible segment. So this is a point where we just have a bad segment that I create that's just like terrible. I think one time we just did impressions of someone. Oh, David Lynch for the Eraserhead episode. I just had Jonathan do a bunch of random David Lynch impressions, and they're all terrible.
Bad.
This time we actually have a good one, a better bad one, because you're either going to get all of these right or all these wrong. So this is it's called The Metal-Faced Forbidden Doom, MF Doom or Forbidden Room. So it's either an IMDb quote from The Forbidden Room or a line from underground hip-hop legend MF Doom. Okay? You're going to have to guess which one it is, okay? First one's easy. Be careful about passing glass when you're in the bathtub.
Forbidden Room.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Woo! Number 2, it's like they know what's about to happen.
MF Doom.
Yeah. Just keep your eye out like Aye Captain, which is from Accordion, of Mad Villainy. Oh, shoot, the goose is loose.
MF Doom.
Yeah. So you wild, you couldn't chase it down with straight fruit juice, which is off corn carne, alpha food. Confirmation of your worst fears.
Forbidden Room?
Nope. Damn. Ever since his first years had a first for beers, which is Victor Vaughn's Lick Upon, which is pseudonym for MF Doom. No more talking, just breathing.
Forbidden Room.
Yeah. Jarvis says that. He wears a mask just to cover up the raw flesh.
MF Doom.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
A rather ugly brother with flows that gorgeous beef wrap off of food as well. Whatever you think I've done it 10 times worse than you'll ever know.
Forbidden Room.
Yep, Dr. Warren says that. Dream the molten dream of justice.
That is also Forbidden Room.
Yep, Organizer says that. Have a nice day.
The Bath guy says it at the very end. It's the final line of the film.
And then borderline schizo, sort of fine tits though.
I think that might be MF Doom.
It's actually forbidden. No, I'm kidding. Pour the wine, whore the grind, quarter to 9, let's go, meat grinder. You did good. I assumed you were going to do good because I made it kind of easy.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make it not easy because there's so few quotes from Forbidden Room and so many MF Doom lines. But yeah, is it a film?
No. It's mini films.
Oh, shit. I was scared for a second. But yeah, is it a film? Episode 7, I think. An episode we would like to call an episode we would like to call The Metal-Faced Forbidden Doom. I also like to call it From the Forbidden Womb to the Forbidden Tomb. That's my AKA. I know, but I also like it to use it as an episode title because I think it was so good.
So nice you said it twice.
Yeah, so nice. If you want to subscribe to us, you subscribe to us at youtube.com/The Anthony and Todd Show. If you're listening in podcast form, subscribe on whatever app.
We have our own YouTube channel.
I said.
You said The Anthony and Todd Show.
Is it a film? You can't search that, but one day you may be able to search that.
You can. You have to put it in quotation marks, I discovered.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Also, you can subscribe to us at Facebook, Instagram, and all on Twitter. All at Is It a Film, not Anthony and Todd. But if you want to subscribe to Anthony and Todd, you can. And if you want to support us, Patreon. If you also want to support the Anthony and Todd Show, support both of them for the same price as one, so I could buy a jet ski.
You're not supporting the show. You're supporting his jet ski habit.
I'm going to get so many
I'm going to lobotomize you to cure you of your addiction to jet skis.
Okay, I agree to that. Until next time, guys, I'm Vincent.
I'm Jonathan.
And stay safe.
Stay safe?
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Stay Jason Statham.
Jason Statham.
Stay Jason Statham.
Crank 2. High voltage.
Is that the one where he just does meth?
No, that's Crank 1. I'm kidding. No, the Crank movies are about where he, if his heartbeat goes too low, he dies, so he has to keep his adrenaline constantly pumped, so he just, destroys himself.
So that's why he would do meth, right?
Yeah. Meth.
Meth. Meth. Tasty meth.
Tasty meth.